So I am here with Cait, who is our Wild Women guide and partner in Ireland. And I was lucky enough to do a couple of trips with her and had a absolute blast on those trips. So super excited to see your face here with us today, Cait, and to catch up with you and hear how those beautiful ponies are doing, because I miss them. They're the most wonderful ponies. So why don't we start with you talking about what kind of horses you have and sort of what their traits are.
Okay, there's a slight delay on the audio here, Klein, but we'll try and deal with it. First of all, hello, and great to see you again. I'm a bit older, and I don't know, am I wiser since you were over here last? So I'm based on the west coast of Ireland, in a region called Connemara. It's probably one of the most scenic areas of Ireland. Wealth of mountains and lakes and beautiful beaches. So I call them my family. I have a family of Connemara ponies. Most of them are homebred, and don't get frightened by the word pony. So I breed this type of breed. It's native to the area, and I breed them a little bit bigger than the normal pony that everyone thinks of. So most of my ponies are over 15 hands. What I like about the breed is their beautiful temperament. They're very kind-natured. As I say to people, if you give them an ounce of love, they give you just tons of it back. So most of them, I think when your first trip, Klein, with us, a lot of the ponies were only 4 years of age, and this was my introduction to it was my first year of running these trips, and it kind of came all of a sudden, and bookings came in, and I thought, oh my God, my ponies are only 4 years of age. How am I going to cope with this? And I probably was a little bit conscious of the riding ability of the customers coming along. So I would have been more strict on how on our expectations of the riders at the time, because the ponies were so young. So almost 7 years on, the ponies are wiser and grayer, and they deal with different customers every week of the summer. And I just find they're getting kinder and kinder. So with our riding levels, we've relaxed that a little bit in terms of our expectations. So normally our average rider would be considered probably a novice rider. They may have their own horse or may not. They would maybe take lessons once weekly, or they might just trail ride. It's kind of two types of customers. So the trail riding type customer is used to, going out for hours on end on horseback, and it's at a nice slow pace, and they're just absorbing the scenery and so on. And then you'll have the more serious rider that's into their competition. They might do a bit of jumping or a bit of hunter pace or something like that. So in every week, no matter how I try and match up our customers to a particular level of riding experience, I'll always have a mixture, and we just cope with that. And it's getting easier as the years go on. That was one of my dogs yawning in the background. So as I said, the ponies are over height. They're mostly grey, which is a nightmare for us to keep them clean. But
and you do keep them very clean.
We do. Ketchup is a great thing to clean their tails. But our tack is very well maintained. It's cleaned every day. It's very and a lot of people ask about our saddles. So it's an English style saddle. It's manufactured in Ireland. I think it's the fourth generation of a family that have been making saddles here for years. It's a very comfortable saddle. It's got like a knee roll and a thigh roll that keeps your leg in position. We would use standard English style bridles as well. So look, there's nothing complicated, but on the first day we explain everything. We explain how to tack up the horse. We explain how to tighten your cinch and things like that. And we always mount from a step or from a mounting block. So a lot of people worry about that too. They might have had knee surgery or hip surgery. So the mounting is assisted all the time. And apart from when you're in the middle of a forest and you need to go for a toilet break, but we'll always find a rock that you can hop up on, yourself.
Oh yeah. And I have to ask you, how is my favorite horse, Big John?
Big John, Big John is now he's now my main horse, if I can call him that. So I have 20 horses at the moment. Whoopi would have been the mare. She's behind me in the picture here. She was the mare. She's now 18, and she retired 2 years ago. So Big John became my main mount. So not many customers get to ride him anymore. But if you come back, Klein, I'll let you have a spin on him. He's quirky. But we understand each other. You know, sometimes he decides, you know what, I'm not going any further today. We just have a few words in a certain tone of voice, and on he goes. And he almost looks back at me and laughs. But I'm just getting to know him so well. But he's probably one of the biggest Connemara's. Now, he's grown since you've seen him last. So he's measuring 16'1" now, which is very unique for the Connemara breed. But just last year, actually, I invested in 2 more bigger guys as well. So they're similar in nature to Big John as well. So.
Oh, nice. So I loved all of your horses, but of course, the one that you get to ride, you get a special connection with. And there's the picture that Kim took of me kissing with Big John that's, you know, been all over the place. So he's very close to my heart. Sweet boy.
That's the one on the Wild Women site, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, love that picture. Kim's such a great photographer. So
she is. Tell her I said hello.
I will indeed. Yes, she'll probably watch this, I'm sure. So I'm also, I think the women are interested in sort of the kind of riding that you do, sort of the different sorts of terrain that we're on and that kind of thing. So maybe talk about that a bit.
Okay, so terrain is. What I try and mix in is a variety of different types of scenery, as many different types as I can. But the terrain isn't in any way arduous, and the Connemara ponies are noted for their sure-footedness. So you'll see them if we go over anything that's anyway rough. They take one step at a time, and it's one hoof at a time, and they're so careful. We have one of our rides, I think it's on day 3 normally of our itinerary. I call it the assault course. It's where we go through a forest, and you've got like a half an inch to spare to protect your knees, and we kind of push ourselves away from the trees if the pony gets too close to a tree. So if you think about it, the pony is just thinking of his own body width, not necessarily your knees. So it's about a 2-hour long ride. The worst part, not the worst part of it, the most challenging part of it, but it works really well because it's not something you do on day 1 or 2. It's when everyone is girls, stop, my dogs are playing with each other. It's when you get to know your pony and you get to trust him. And by day 3, it's like, right, I really trust this guy. He's going to make sure I don't get hurt. And you know, it's up and down hills, weaving in and out through trees and so on. So we do beach rides, we do lakeside rides. And we do, as you probably remember, we ride along some roads, and that freaks people out when they hear that this is what they're about to do. And it's like a lot of our riders have never been ridden outside of an arena, and when they hear we're heading down the road, it's like our ponies are so used to traffic. No matter how loud it is, the only challenge I've found recently is electric cars, because you don't hear them coming. Yeah, but look, we as you know, we have guides front and back and in the middle, and everyone's looking out for what's coming ahead and what's coming from behind. So like, we're not climbing mountains with these horses. It's because of the terrain that we're in here. Once you go further out into Connemara from where my house is based, the land is so soft. It's real boggy, and the horses would literally sink even if we tried to climb a mountain. You'd imagine, you know, the surface of a mountain is going to be rock hard. It's not in the case over here. So we have carefully selected paths that we go through. And each day, so we mix in, it's not just riding, as you know, we mix in a number of cultural tours with our riding each day. I've added some new ones since you've been here last, and they're more off the beaten path tours where you're not likely to meet too many other tourists, which is great. I'm trying to get more holistic with our experiences as well. We've introduced, I think this will interest you, we've introduced forest bathing, where we do some yoga, and we do like an oyster tasting experience. Some people are allergic to shellfish, but they still do the tour and find the history of it very interesting as well. And I'm looking into some foraging and just looking more at the sustainable tourism industries around my area. And I think like we've done a lot of workshops with our tourism board in the last, well, this year, because COVID has hit us here. So we're all trying to work together and and invent some I suppose past business to each other. But I mean, there are businesses out there that I didn't even know about that are maybe 10 miles away from me. So I'm going to experiment with some of those this year. So what's on the Wild Women itinerary that's up on the website for our trip, there'll be some surprises thrown in there as well. And remember, we've got quite a busy day. Yeah. We have some late nights if people want them. And we have some singing. Do you still have that Wild Women Blues song?
Oh yeah. Pull it
oh
out.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I've taken up the ukulele as well. I play it really badly. So yeah, it's a fun packed trip, and you don't get a minute, and you sleep well at the end of the day. And so I've actually changed the second half of our trip, the location of where we stay. So previously we stayed at Renville House, and this has just come about recently. I'm moving the second half of our trip into Clifton Town, which you're familiar with. Yeah. It's a little less start again. It's a little less remote than Renville House was, and there are plenty of places to visit during the evenings for a bit of entertainment and music and so on. So.
Yes, I love that town, and there are lots of little places with local music going on, and just the vibe there is amazing. And
that's it.
I have to say, if you go on this trip, go to the jewelry store in Clifton.
Oh yes, yeah, O'Dawley's it's called, isn't it?
I think so.
O'Dawley's, yeah.
And
you got a lovely piece there.
I got a really nice bracelet that's made like a. It looks like a bridle. It's lovely.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
They have very nice things there, and lots of horse themed jewelry.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. So that's nice that you'll stay right in town. I mean, Renville House was very lovely, and of course the horses were right there beside us. But the idea of being in town and being able to take in some of that nightlife is lovely. And the Irish pubs are like nowhere else in terms of the singing and the fun and the joyfulness that's always abounding with with you guys. I don't know where you get all the energy and all the fun, but it's
sometimes it's induced by Guinness.
Nice. And what about I remember a few rainy days on the trip. How's the weather generally there in Ireland?
So I'm looking out the window now. I have Southern Ireland's largest lake outside, just outside my back door. The lake levels have risen by about 3 feet. Wow. in the last week. So we've had so much rain here over the last 3 or 4 weeks. My arena at the moment is flooded, but within 3 or 4 hours, if the rain stops, it drains fairly well. But last week we had a day where I went riding with some friends. We're all meant to be socially distancing, so we did that on horseback. And we were out in our t-shirts. Oh, wow. And that's in November. Oh, so they say you don't come to Ireland for the weather, you come prepared for it. Right. Okay. And what I find is you guys coming from Canada and the States, the wet gear that you take with you is far better standard than what we can get over here. And my hair is wet now because I was out with the horses earlier. I forget to put my cap on, things like that. I don't look after myself very well, but we ride regardless of the weather. So we rarely have somebody that will say, I'm not going out today, it's too wet, or I'm not going out today, it's too windy. Again, the horses are well used to the wind. We've been out and we've been on beaches in sandstorms. I posted a video there last year. I actually had a fall because my horse, it was Big John. He tripped in a big mound of sand that had developed in a sandstorm. But we went out anyway, like fools. So look, nothing will stop us going out in the horses.
I have to say, some of my most memorable rides have been in the worst weather. You know, you feel like you've conquered something pretty major when you've gone through a windstorm or a rainstorm on horseback. And the horses are just, like you say, they're used to it, and they don't even bat an eye at it. And when we're dressed for it, you know, it's not a big deal. I think it's a bigger deal actually thinking about going out in the rain. Once you're out there, not a big deal at all. Yeah. That's wonderful. Is there anything else about the trips that you want to share that you think that people would be interested in who are thinking about doing the trip? Or
what I'm finding is over the years is I'm getting lots of solo travelers, and the beautiful result at the end of that is, you know, we all become friends on Facebook. Every trip, every guest that comes, it's like they send me a friend request, and then 5-6 years down the line, somebody from a group posts a picture, and I can see the other people that were on that group all commenting and liking and so on, and wishing each other happy Christmas or happy Thanksgiving. So don't be afraid. If you're a solo traveler, this is an ideal trip to come and make new friends.
Yes, that's been my experience there, and as well on other Wild Women trips, is that often the groups come together and continue to to stay in touch over the years. I'm realizing that our connection has frozen, and I'm not sure if it's frozen on your end as well. I'm just going to see about switching over to my cell phone and see if that helps. So bear with me here. Oh, I am back, and it looks like it's just me here. So it looks like I have lost Cait in Ireland. So I think we'll wrap up since it's just me here. Oh, there she is. Get her back in. My apologies. I think that was, yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry about that. It could be weather here. I don't know. The screen just froze.
Yeah, the same here. We have not great internet here, so I have switched over to my cell phone, and hopefully that will make a difference with cellular data. But yes, I was mentioning that this is often the case with Wild Women trips, that women do over the years stay connected with one another. But I have to say, Cait, that there's something about what you bring and the ladies that guide with you bring that really help to bring a group together. And you've got such a great sense of humor, and it's always fun hanging out with you. You know, I really enjoyed the first year I was there, of course, and then looked forward all year to going back, because I know we just had a blast. I mean, so much fun. So I think there is something really magical and special about what you and the women that you've chosen to work with bring to the trips that foster that kind of community spirit and friendship and love and connection that people want to hang on to and hold those memories really dear. So
thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I again, with this COVID situation, I think we're all going to spend lots of time reconnecting, and you know, whether it's with friends or sisters or sister-in-laws or mothers, daughters, this is going to be, you know, again, it's highlighted what we value in life, and to be able to spend time with the people that you really enjoy being with, and what better way to do it than on horseback, you know?
Absolutely. There's no better way to see the world and to meet people than by horseback. I mean, that's maybe canoe.
Yeah. Oh, I've got some kayaks here since you were here last. I have three kayaks out there, and we do some kayaking trips as well. So, you know, what we can add in, again, I can discuss this with Wild Women if anyone wants any side trips or wants to change. anything on the itinerary, we can accommodate that. I invested in a fancy bus as well. It's a nice Mercedes with leather seats, and I've got headphones there, and I talk through it. So I drive the bus the whole time. I don't drive the truck anymore.
Okay.
I have one big truck now for the horses, where I think we had two the last time. So I've had to, look at the business model, make it easier. Did I need two truck drivers? Did I need two people ferrying the passengers? No, I didn't, and it was extra expense. It was more fuel going up into the sky. So it's just the business is more refined since you were here last. I've got some extra stables. I think I'm not sure if you were here the last time. I have a beautiful mural up on the wall of Grace O'Malley, she's the main heroine of her trip, and the trip is totally focused on her. Just things are a little bit more refined, and as I say, I've got more time to be with customers rather than worry about getting saddles on horses, making sure the horses are clean. So it turns into like a 20-hour day for me with the customers, but I do this out of passion. I don't do this to make money. It's it's my love in life is to be with the horses. So I could, no matter who's with me or how difficult it can be to entertain a customer, the horses are here by my side, and you can ground yourself, and it's all good. It's all good.
Yes, I remember being out at your place where we start the trip, and the stables are quite close to the house. And I remember going out in the evening and just kind of going around to each horse and having a little snuggle, and just how grounding and wonderful that is to just so close to the horses and have the ability to go out and give them a hug anytime. I don't have that luxury here. So I really, really appreciated that when I was there, just the connection. And I know you've worked a lot with people who do some of the horse therapy and that kind of thing.
That's right.
You bring some of that into the trip as well?
Yeah, we do that. So my friends Eileen and Mary run an organization called Horses Connect, and they do some equine assisted therapy and team building. And again, people are very skeptical when we do this little workshop in the arena with the selection of the horses. But it can just open up people's emotions. It can show leadership skills that people didn't even think they had. And it's just a really fun workshop, and people ask for more of it. That's what we find. So you're not on horseback, you're just working with the horses on the ground. You're observing their behaviors towards each other, and it can bring out many feelings that people never thought they had about a certain person in their life, or a work situation, or a health issue. But Eileen and Mary are qualified to deal with all of this, and we've had people in tears, but usually tears of joy at the end of it. So it's something that has worked well, and you've been on our musical ride as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a bit strenuous at the start until we put music to it, and then it's like a synchronized swim at the end of it.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of we did that on the second trip that I went, not the first trip.
That's right.
It was really one of the highlights, watching all this come together, and how terrible we were at the start, almost smashing into each other, and by the end, when the music came on, I thought, hey, we're not too bad. Definitely ups your skill, right? Because if you're just riding, it doesn't matter if the horse goes a little to one way or the other, but when you're trying to ride in coordination with others, it really shows you how on or off you actually are.
And like all of these things are optional as well. I've had people that say, oh no, I spend the whole year in the dressage ring, so I don't really want to do that. I'm on vacation, so count me out for that one. And then they're watching it, and 5 minutes into it, it's like, get me a horse, I want to do this.
Yeah, it is just a ton of fun. Yeah, and every ride, I mean, and I know you switch the trip up from time to time, so I imagine if people wanted to return and do the trip again, even it's the same horses, but it's different people, and there are always little tidbits that you add in to make it special, and surprise us, and just I know your heart is so big, and you just want to make this the best experience that you possibly can for the people who come, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
so much appreciate that. It's just a wonderful gift to have someone like you running this trip who just, you know, you give, well, the 20-hour days says it all, right? You give of yourself, and probably I'm going to say maybe a little bit too much, right?
Oh, okay.
But it's well appreciated, and the trip, you know, really shines as a result. So.
Thank you. I was thinking there we should, when you spoke about returning customers, we should organize some Wild Women reunions.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be so awesome. Because
Yeah.
you've done quite a few trips now, and
Yeah.
there's a large group of women who have done the trip. Has anyone come for a second round, or is that yet to happen?
It's yet to happen with Wild Women, yeah. But that's, I suppose we can reach out if anyone's watching the video, and we can all reconnect with each other, and let's get it going.
I would love
Or
that.
even we could have a mix of people that have been on different Wild Women trips if we can't make up a full group, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose another thing about our trip that's a little bit unique with your other riding trips is, you know, I'm limited. It's small numbers, so it's not a ride of 15 people out there. It's usually 8. We can cope with 10 if we don't have people requesting single rooms. We can fit 10 in. So the house has 5 rooms in it. And it's just nice and personable, you know, and it's everyone gets individual attention. And you know, some people are coming with they're getting away from something, they're getting away from a health issue or trauma or something like that, and you know, that's what we can recognize. I'm getting very good at recognizing that within 5 minutes of meeting a person, and it's about focusing on every individual's needs and making sure that everyone is happy. And it was Wild Women, I have to say, it was Wild Women that introduced me to that, you know, the focus on the customer and the checking in every evening to make sure that everyone's happy. And you know, if anything needs to change, let's change it, and you know, making sure everyone's happy along the way. That's our priority.
Yes, it's perfect, actually. And that daily check-in is so important. You know, just to bring out whatever fears or excitement or hopes or dreams for the trip, so that we can keep on making sure that we meet the needs of people who come on the trip. So it's great to hear that that's all going really well for you. I am so excited to talk to you today, and thanking you from the bottom of my heart for agreeing to do this, and sharing your experience and reconnecting. It's wonderful. So thank you.
I'm delighted too, Klein. It's great to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.